going to need chicken, carrots, broccoli, mushrooms, noodles, oil, chicken broth, honey, allspice, a pot, a pan, and that cutting board. We're going to start by defrosting the chicken. So out of the freezer, throw the chicken breast into the microwave, shut the door, hit the defrost by weight button, and set to 6 ounces. That's 0, 0, 6. Hit the start button. Off you go. Now we just touched chicken, so you're going to want to wash your hands. After we've washed our hands, we're going to add the chicken broth to the pot. We're going to use 4 cups. 1, 2, 3, 4. After we're done that, we're going to take our allspice, take some of the allspice berries, put them in the grinder, add the lid to the grinder, add the crank to the grinder, and grind them on up into a fine powder. Should take about 3 or 4 cranks. After that, take the bottom half off your grinder, add it to the broth, and stir it around. Next up, veggies. We're going to want to peel the carrot, making sure we peel all sides of it, and cut the carrot lengthwise. Be sure here not to cut your fingers or you might faint. See what I'm doing with my right hand? You won't cut your fingers this way. Next up, our broccoli. We're going to cut the head off the broccoli and feed the stem to the dog. Cut the smaller stems off so that you have a lot of itty bitty pieces for the broth. And we're going to do the same with the mushrooms. After we've cut all our veggies, we're going to add them to the broth, bit by bit, making sure not to spill. Put the lid on and let it boil. In the meantime, we can add our pan to the other heat source, turn on the heat, add some oil, add some honey, and stir it all in. We're going to add the chicken out of the microwave, but first we need to cut it up. Be sure to cut it into small pieces. Lengthwise works fine. Be sure not to cut your fingers once again, and having just touched chicken, wash your hands. As mentioned, add the chicken onto the pan and stir it around so that you get some oil on it. Now, since we only have one pot, we're going to need to drain the broth into another bowl and fill the pot back up with water so we can start cooking our noodles. Once we've added the water to the pot about halfway, put it back on the heat, turn the heat on to max, put the lid on, and wait for the water to boil. After the water's boiled, we're going to start putting our noodles in. So taking them out of the package, you just want to separate them a bit, make sure it's not in that glob, and slowly add them to the heat. Now, we're going to need to drain the water after it's done, so we're going to need to drain it. But we don't even need a strainer! Whoa. Need a strainer! Need a strainer! Yes, there we go. So what you want to do, wear some oven mitts, put the lid on, and drain the water out of the small gap in the bottom. Make sure you're wearing mitts, otherwise you may scald yourself. After this, we can finally add our broth back to the bowl and serve into a smaller bowl. Udon soup. There you go. Happy eating.